Everything inspires me to create magic. Basically, my process is this. Anytime I see something that excites me, or in the words of Ken Thompson, makes my heart skip a beat, I decide that I want to create magic about this piece or this event or this thing. Because I express myself through magic. It's how I communicate with my audiences. So if I see something like a movie I really like, or read a book, or meet somebody, or hear a story, or something happens to me and it excites me or I find it interesting, I try to turn it into a magic trick. Instinctively, I always want to create card tricks because I'm a card guy. So one of the challenges I have for myself is if I see something and I want to turn it into a magic trick, first thing I think about is what can I do with this that makes sense based on what I'm trying to say, but without using cards. Often though it ends up as card tricks though. That's a really hard question to answer. There's a lot of really cool guys. I would love to meet Hofstadter. Specifically, love to see his show, like a performance by him. Same with Robert Houdin. As great as it would be to sit with them, to see them perform, to see the way they structure a show and the way they interact with people and create miracles would be really cool. Anybody who knows anything about me knows how much I love Erdnase. So to sit down with him and maybe ask him some questions about what he left out of the book would be really cool to hear. I never met Vernon. I got started in magic a few years after he died, so that's probably my biggest influence in magic. To see him work and to talk to him about stuff would be amazing. Don Allen, a big influence, so to see him work again. A lot of these people would be someone who I'd want to see work rather than just sit down to talk with them over dinner. I want to see these shows that I heard so much about. It's very important that you know who came before you and what came before you so you can know where you're going. One of the things that people talk about all the time or ask about is how you create magic and about the creative process. And the truth is that if you want to be a creator, if you want to be a strong performer, if you want to be any of these things, studying what came before you, amassing a collection, learning the tools that are available to you, the tricks, the subtleties, the theories of these great magicians, puts you on a position to be better than you could be if you just did it on your own. Like you could spend 50 or 60 years rediscovering everything Vernon said, though chances are you'd spend your lifetime and still never come close. Or you can read his books, watch his Revelations DVD, read the Revelation book, study the stuff he has, and then use that information to grow and do something, maybe that he never thought of or move past it. So one thing is, if you want to be a better magician, you study history, you know what comes before you, you stand on the shoulders of giants. But the other thing is, if you love magic as much as I do, and I'm sure most of you do, then studying magic and studying the people who came before you is something you want to do because you respect it and you love it. But also it's fun, it's enjoyable. I love reading stories about, Keller or about Robert Houdin or about Houdini, and I love seeing the tricks they came up with. And I even like hearing about the fighting and the feuding. It's interesting, it's fascinating. So if you want to be better, study the history. If you want to have fun in your craft, study history. If you just want to learn all about magic, study the history. Ask Tony Chang. That's all I got. Vernon was very fond of saying, and it's something that a lot of gamblers talk about, that you have to put thought into how you get in and out of something. So in and out of a trick, in and out of a move, even in and out into the parts that'll set up the move or the motions to set up a move. So when we talk about someone being really smooth in sports or magic or dance or anything, it's not just that they do a move well, it's how they transition in and out of it. So someone who's really smooth, let's say they shuffle really well and cut, well, they don't just think about the actual shuffling, they think about how their hands are going to move to grip the deck. Then they talk about the grip. They think about, Erdnase talks about whether you separate the deck into two halves and move, left and right with both hands, or if only one hand moves, or which packet's gonna move. So you think about things like that. Then you shuffle, and you can use video to see which looks best. Then maybe you do the shuffle, and then you put thought into how you finish the shuffle. Do you have an open hand or a closed hand? How do you square up? Where do you place the deck down? Where do your hands come to rest? So by putting thought into all of that, you transition in and out of moves, and that's what gives it a look of elegance and class. The other thing is camera edits and using just performing in places where it's dark. Yeah, that'll help. Who would win in a fight between me and Mayhew? That's pretty obvious, I think. I would whoop his butt.